Yo, what's going on, everyone? It's Brian and Jim here with Drink a Beer and Play a Game, and welcome to another episode of the Power Hour.
How's it going, everybody? Welcome to episode 86. How you doing tonight?
Very good. And we want to, once again, before we get into this one, say thank you to the guys from Console Wars, because that was another really fun episode. I think every time we get together with those guys, it's just a ton of fun.
Oh, yeah, we always love being able to talk to Dan and Pat. So, Pat, we've been able to talk to a lot more lately. We've known Dan longer, obviously, but now both great top guys. Obviously, check the links in the old video. Watch the old video, too. But watch all their shit. They make great content.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're like those guys that it seems like everyone in the YouTube sphere just loves them. So, how can you not?
I mean, they are the more real guys that we've ever met.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, they're not just very
all
good.
All right, we sucked their dick enough.
Jim, if your mother taught you anything, you can never stop sucking enough.
Look, Brian, I'm a gentleman here. I don't after we finish, I don't keep sucking. I'm not a monster.
But you didn't say what a lovely tea party.
Not this time.
All right, Jim, speaking of tea and you and sucking, what are you drinking tonight?
I'm keeping with some more pumpkin-y beer because we're still in Halloween season, so I'm going with the Dogfish Head Pumpkin Ale. The classic.
Pumpkin.
What's that?
Isn't it just called Pumpkin?
No, it's called Pumpkin Ale.
Pumpkin Ale? Yeah.
Yep. 7% alcohol by volume. Nothing written on it besides brown ale brewed with pumpkin, brown sugar, allspice, cinnamon, and nutmeg.
Yeah, speaking of sucking things off, when we first started this page, people could not stop blowing this beer about it being the best pumpkin beer ever. And Jim and I have reviewed it. We've probably talked about it a few times on here. It's very just average, like if not like a little better than average. But the way people used to talk about it, they'd make it sound like it was like another 90-minute IPA or something. Like a lot of things from Dogfish Head got a ton of love.
Yeah.
But it's still good beer. I just want to make that clear.
Yeah, I think like 2013, 2014-ish, like Dogfish Head was definitely like one of the premier craft breweries out there. Like a lot of places have caught up to them since then, but they're still good. Like you're not going to go wrong drinking their beer. But yeah, like even starting this now, I'm just like, yeah, this is an average pumpkin beer. There's nothing special about it.
Nice.
It's fine.
Are you sticking with just that tonight, or are you switching it up?
No, I have another one. I'll get to that when we get there.
Okay. So I'm doing two different ones, and one I'm sure you can figure out, Jim. I'm sticking with finishing off the 6-pack of the Yuengling Hershey's Chocolate Porter. Man, even with the comment of me saying I'm just going to try it, you can see how divisive this beer is.
Instantly.
I still don't get the pure, unadulterated hate for both Yuengling and Hershey's, apparently. Like, apparently Europeans hate fucking Hershey's.
Well, Europeans hate, like, American milk chocolate in general. Because they like that gritty, pure, dark chocolate garbage that, you know, it's more close to real chocolate, but it also doesn't taste as good. See, this is why they don't have good teeth, because they don't have good taste buds either. It's from years of just having to acclimate to everything.
Jim, don't hate on the Europeans.
I love them, except for everything about them. Except for Dean. Dean's a sweetheart.
Yeah, I mean, you, I know, will love this. Although, I always forget with you, because you're weird about so many things.
Sure.
Do you like chocolate or not really?
What, like, in general?
Like, in beer, especially. Like, I know you had those, like, recently, those, like, that German chocolate cake and stuff, but is it, like, too sweet for you sometimes?
I haven't had one yet that was too sweet. For the most part, they have a nice blend to it. So, I still need to try the Yuengling one, but I'm sure I'd probably like it. Like, I like chocolate beer.
Yeah. I mean, it tastes, if you like Hershey's chocolate, it legit tastes, and that's the number one thing. Even my brother tried it, who does not like porters or stouts at all, but he's like, oh, it's like drinking Hershey's chocolate in a porter. That's the best way I'm going to describe it. It's very smooth. I don't get the hate, and I don't think people realize, I think they think that Yuengling took their lager and put Hershey's in it, not realizing it's a porter. So people are like busting on the like Yuengling lager. I'm like, you know, that's not the beer they use as a base, right? Like,
Right.
It's a fucking porter.
I
But
bet
no.
I bet if they just took their lager and put chocolate in it, it would probably taste like dog shit. But
Yeah.
yeah,
But
like a chocolate porter is pretty standard. It's like chocolate porters and coffee porters and crap like that.
yeah, it's a thick son of a bitch. They don't have shit for Yingling. Never has shit for information.
No.
Doesn't even have percentage. I'm guessing 5 to 6.
Probably standard Yingling.
Yeah, but goes down smooth as hell. And then yeah, I'll save my next beer for when we get to it.
All right, cool. Good choices, good choices. So now, Bri, as we keep with tradition, what have you been playing?
Oh, dude. So been going through. Obviously, got back into streaming. Gonna stay more consistent again. Assuming I don't have any crazy plans like I have. But Doom Eternal. And yeah, that game, it just takes everything from the 2016 Doom and improves upon it. The weapons have a little bit more versatility. Your movement has a little bit more you can do. There's just, it feels like a more even flushed. And the Doom 2016 game is one of the best FPSs of our generation. So to improve upon that is just like, oh, okay, this makes sense. Outside of that, like I dicked around with Dead by Daylight for a while, and more Among Us. That game is still. I feel like though, in a little bit of time since we started playing it, like I'm just seeing so many more people that just aren't playing the game like at all, like the right way. They're just all trolls now. And
It's all trolls, and
annoying.
apparently there's a big hacking problem in it now too. Probably not so much on the mobile version, but I think the Steam's turning into a dumpster fire.
Also, what the hell? I've been in 2 games where people are like, let's play hide and seek. I don't know how to play hide and seek. I haven't actually successfully done that. So I don't know what that actually entails, but I don't know. Like, how do you, is the imposter just find you and you let them kill you? Like, I don't get how you play hide and seek in that game.
Yeah, I don't know either. I haven't done it. I actually kind of fell off with Among Us. Like, I maybe played like 1 game this past week. I was like, yeah, I'm kind of over it.
What else you been playing now?
I had a house guest this week, and I was also sick for a little while, so I didn't play a lot. But I did dick around with, so for those who don't know, Sega is celebrating their 60th. They're doing all the crazy shit this year, like the Astro City Mini Arcade and the Mini Game Gears and all these Steam releases that they're putting out there for free. So I dicked around with 2 of them that I think they just delisted already. So the Golden Axed prototype from like 2013, and that Streets of Kamurochu, basically the Yakuza series splashed in on top of Streets of Rage 2.
Yeah, I saw that. That was interesting combo. What do you think of it so far?
Okay, Streets of Kamurochu, and I'm actually I'm putting together a quick little Let's Play because there's not a lot to say. Basically, it's the first stage of Streets of Rage 2. It's exactly Streets of Rage 2, just with Yakuza pixel art. And, yeah, you just keep playing the first stage over and over and over again. And it, like, gets gradually harder every time, but, like, if you have any good knowledge base of Streets of Rage, like, you can basically play forever. Which, I will explain in that video. Holy crap, how long some people must have been playing. But, because there's a leaderboard. The biggest draw, I guess, for anyone to keep playing it is the online leaderboard. So, if you want to be first place, prepare to put, like, all what I can only assume to be, like, days of action into it. And then Golden Axed, which I'm going to break tradition and skip Patreon real quick because it melds into our next article, our first article. And Golden Axed, for those of you who don't know, is basically, long story short, they were working on a prototype for a new Golden Axe game back in 2012, 2013.
Yeah.
And it got axed.
Jim, you did a play on words.
I didn't do it. Sega did it.
Really, Jim?
Does it make it worse that you can see my face as I do it?
I mean, it's kind of the face I was expecting, but it makes it a little worse. It really does. Don't you dare. Don't you dare.
I just gave you. So, when it came out, it was like, oh, cool. Sega's putting this thing out there that no one ever saw before. That's neat. Until controversy struck right away. So, a weird thing about it was they put it out there, but I guess to temper expectations, the original write-up was like, oh, hey, this kind of crappy, kind of janky product of its time prototype from 2013. which you look at that and you go, that's a little odd, but all right, I guess they're playing it extra safe. Until one of the guys who was like the lead designer for it, by the name of Tim Dawson, and he went on a rant. So link will be below. But the long story short, it starts off with, woke up to the surprising news that Sega's releasing the Golden Axe prototype that I coded in 2012 under crunch conditions. At least I'm not alone, because this is a surprise to everyone, which is also funny, because when you hit start, it does a little crawl like, enjoy this weird little prototype. You know, we talked to some of the developers behind it, and they're excited for this release. Turns out, it wasn't really the people who worked on the game. My guess is that it was people in Sega's brass that are like, oh yeah, throw this out there. So he goes on this long story, basically, around how him and his team worked on the Castle of Illusion remake that they did for PSN, and that's a really good remake. But I guess they did that under like extreme conditions too, and they like crapped out an actually really good game, so they put them on this. So he basically worked on it with who's the other guy, Santana Mishra, and they kind of just worked on it under like 2 weeks of conditions, pulling like 14-hour days. And when they finally showed the Sega's brass, it was like they kept getting these notes about like they wanted like a God of War style game, but like you can take Golden Axe but make it darker and more bloody, which they're like, okay. But they were under the impression that they could make the game that they wanted to make. So they worked on it like dogs for 2 weeks, had this playable prototype, showed it to Sega to basically crickets. And he's basically coming it down to the fact that they wanted like a God of War ripoff, which they never knew. And it's weird because like the combat in there is working. It's actually like a nice looking game, and they're just basically saying, where's the wow factor? So he wanted like a 3D brawler, and they're like, why don't you just make a pre-rendered video and then we'll make a game later? Which that always works out well.
Yeah.
And yeah, so they did everything, and like it is polished, and he revealed the final build, and the same management team that negged him lined up to tell him how good it was. And he's just like, what? And then a little bit later, they're just like, oh wait, no, we're canceling it. So from the Steam page, his final line was, from the Steam page, the original write-up, Golden Axe may be janky, may be buggy, may be an artifact of its time, but it offers a unique glimpse into the prospect of a project that could have been. Go fuck yourself, parasites.
So, okay, few questions.
Yeah.
So you said this was available on that thing?
For Steam, yeah, I think as of today, it got unlisted.
Okay.
So they only had it up there for maybe a week.
And
It was a free download.
Yeah, so how many other games? It was just this and that Yakuza game, right?
Well, apparently Knights was free for a bit and they took it down, but apparently if I can go to Sega 60th and sign up for like a newsletter, I can re-download it, so
okay.
I'll do that later. But it was the Yakuza game, it was Golden Axed, it was what is it called? Armor of something or other, which is like it's almost like combat but redone, which actually looks like a fun thing we can do, so that's free. And then Endless Zone, which is like a love letter to Fantasy Zone, which it's like a series I just got into and I really like it, so I'm excited to play that. That's like 4 levels apparently. And then a couple skins for like 2 Point Hospital and a Sonic skin for Fall Guys, and then something else. Oh yeah, and Sonic 2 is free as well. So if you want to download Sonic the Hedgehog 2 for the billionth time.
Okay. So I'm looking at Golden Axe right now, the gameplay.
He was also pissed off for the opening screen where like it was Golden Axe, and then axed, get it? Because we axed it.
Yeah, it's shitty. As this kind of goes back to what we talked about. I forget which specific company. I think it was Project Red with like them putting their people under crunch time for Cyberpunk. But yeah, this is one of those shitty things where when you work for a company, unfortunately, no matter how much blood, sweat, and tears you put into it, it ultimately is their IP. And if they choose to release an unfinished version of a game that can lead to your criticism, they can do it. If anything, I would say it's a testament to that. If these guys were able to complete this in 2 weeks, under the conditions, if it's true, I mean, I look at that as kind of like a win almost.
Yeah, I guess a win they couldn't celebrate until 7 years later.
Yeah, that's a really weird part.
I think the weirdest thing to me is like calling it axed and like calling it janky. Like To me, this just screams of like some project manager over at Sega who's just held a grudge for all this time, and he found like an excuse to put this out there. Like when calling it axed and like writing it the way you did, it's almost like they're trying to embarrass the people who worked on it. Like,
It is.
It seems personal to me. Like it seems like there's no reason to ever put this out there unless you're just trying to shit on the guy.
I feel like it could be that, or like someone's bright idea of like, hey, you know what? Like everyone loves irony and things being bad, and this is like our way of being a meme. Like
Maybe.
I could see someone's like bright idea doing that. They're like, let's make fun of ourselves because everyone loves self-deprecating humor, and kind of like da 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 da. I mean, for all Tim Dawson, I can appreciate what he went through, but his Twitter handle is also ironic account. So
He's an artist. It's
exactly. So that's why so if he was around people like that, I can see why it was released.
Who knows? Maybe he's a pain in the ass too. You never know.
I don't know, Jim. What would you take from that Twitter handle?
I don't know. I can. It's judging a book by its cover is very easy with a Twitter handle like that, but you never know. But even without that, I mean, I'll have to check more of his shit to see. I don't know what the guy's like, but I will give him credit. Like, I have it. I played through it. It only takes you like 8 minutes to get through it. Like, it's the first level of the game. You don't even get a boss fight. But the graphics are pretty nice. Like, there's some cool lighting effects. There's cool lighting effects. The combat is like, it feels like Golden Axe. So if you like Golden Axe, you'll probably really like the combat. Like, it's weirdly stiff and floaty, but it's like familiar. But it's still like, it surprisingly works. Like the hit detections, for what it is, it's fine. The thing that was driving me fucking nuts was it shows your magic bar up top, and I'm like, oh, I want to throw magic. And no matter what button combination I was doing, I couldn't figure it the fuck out. Turns out it was never programmed. It's just like a placeholder there. So I was like, God damn it. So besides driving myself crazy like that, like, yeah, I have infinite lives. It's just a thing to dick around with. But it's like a cool little glimpse of like history and what could have been, but also of like a corporation being a dick unintentionally, making himself look like a dick. Like, it's just a weird situation.
No, and here's the thing. I mean, I think for true fans of Golden Axe series, they probably got a lot of joy out of this. I've mentioned before, I'm a Patreon for that Puppet Combo who does all those horror games.
Right.
And a lot of times, like every month, no matter what, they release something. And they're usually working on a really big game, and they give you updates. But in the meantime, they'll either say, here's a short little game, or here's a prototype of a few other games that we never finished, but if you want to play around with them. And it's kind of cool because you get to see, and especially when you get their background, it makes you appreciate the game development cycle more. So I wish if companies like Sega or Nintendo have prototypes of lots of old games, I wouldn't mind seeing like early stages.
Yeah.
One of the games, well, it's safe for me to say it because it'll be out by now, but I reviewed A Nightmare on Elm Street, and that game was originally meant to be you playing as Freddy, going around terrorizing and torturing all the teenagers.
Really?
And they have screenshots and footage, well, not footage, but screenshots of what it looked like. Dude, it looks so much better and so much more fun. If they could release that prototype, I would love that. But obviously they canned it, I think, because of the controversy years before with the Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Atari, and it's Nintendo. They probably didn't want it to be too crazy.
Right.
But I would love that. Like, release all your old prototypes of shit you never came out with. Your fans would eat that up in a second.
No, definitely. So, yeah, I mean, again, it's a cool thing to have. Weird situation, but it's always cool. And, like, and to your point, like, Nintendo, as we saw, like, a month ago, they're pretty good about keeping, like, records. Like, they had all those old models from Donkey Kong Country that they never used. And they had all this different clips and video stuff back and forth. So I'm sure they have, like, a whole plethora of, like, unusable, like, somewhat playable demos. So that'll be cool to see.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I come on, tell me most people, if they did it on the Switch, especially on the eShop, it's like a $20 bundle of, like, 50 prototypes.
Oh, people would buy it.
Classics. Yeah, of course. You'd buy it.
Maybe. I'm like, prototype. I want to make it $10 maybe. $10 for 50 prototypes? That might be enticing.
Jim, you would spend it if they had to write 2 or 3 games on it. Let's be honest. But yeah, no. I mean, honestly, yeah, you should check out Tim Dawson's account, and he did release a lot of side-by-side footage of what he was developing and what's different, and he just talks about it in great depth. So it's interesting. If it is a slap
it's cool to
in the
pull
face,
back that veil a
sucks.
little bit.
Yeah, but then again, like I said, I think some people glamorize and think that like video game companies are like this like super moral whatever. It's like,
Oh,
no,
I
they're
don't think
still
anyone
just
thinks
shitty.
that. I don't think anyone thinks video game companies are moral.
Well, you know what I mean. I think some people, it's like just like when everyone knows wrestling was fake, even as a kid, you kind of like, really, is this real? But
I
you
think
go
there's
along with it.
there's people who will stan anything out there that they truly love. But
Yeah.
I don't think even like the hardest stands out there will still know in the back of their head, yeah, they're kind of shit.
But you're right. They'll stand it. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Just like basically, it's the only way Nintendo's still alive because it's not from their customer service.
Look, they release like 7 first-party titles per generation, but they're all quality, so it keeps people coming back.
But then they charge you and have terrible hardware and no online support and
Well, they got things. Things are there.
bitch about YouTube.
He did. That was
Yeah.
a black spot.
Yeah.
They're behind the times. What can you say, Brian?
So no, that's a good thing you threw up there.
Yeah. So, going back to the normal there, moving on to Patreon, where at patreon.com/DrinkABeerandPlayAGame, for as little as $2 a month, you can ask a question that we will answer on each and every single episode of this Power Hour podcast. And also a quick shout out to Kev and John, our 2 newest patrons. So, thank you guys.
Thanks, guys. Really appreciate it.
Now, keep up with the posts and ask questions, goddammit. Use your $2. First up, from G to the next level. If you could have a full collection of games for one of these systems, which would it be and why? The Neo Geo AES or the TurboGrafx 16? Chaz.
The Neo Geo AES one because it's such a goddamn expensive system and collection and the games are just better. Like they're gonna look better, they're gonna play better. Jim, don't give me that face. Regardless of your boner for TurboGrafx, don't act like it's gonna be better than Neo Geo games.
They obviously look better. Neo Geo obviously looks better.
And they play
Debatable.
better. It's
Debatable.
just, Jim, I get you have a boner for TurboGrafx, but that's crazy. I'd be like if I was saying, Jim, would you rather for the Nintendo or the Vectrex? And you, for some craziness, were like, but the Vectrex did this. Like, it's Neo Geo. That's a very obvious and easy answer. If you threw something else at me, I would debate it a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean, even for me, I'm going to go Neo Geo because the fucking price. Like, you have to spend thousands to have, like, 20, like, of their quality games. So, like, if you're looking in the long term, if you're a completionist or just getting the games you want to play themselves, way easier on the Turbo. So, yeah. I would go Neo Geo as well.
Yeah.
But still, good question.
Jim, you're looking a little red.
What?
What's great is you have no idea how long I've had these on.
No, because I've been trying to look at the camera to look at our audience, Brian. I'm trying to be professional here. God damn it.
What about me right now is not professional, Jim?
Oh, Brian, you're always the shining example of professionality.
Jim, you think I'm cute?
I'm not finishing that.
Jim, you know you can't hear a song.
I know I'm sexy. I got to look to the girls. I got to look to be able to 26 time. Right, it's my come sail away.
Exactly. You're my Cartman.
I'm so glad you get to have these real-time facial expressions thanks to this Zoom call. We should have been doing this ages ago.
Oh yeah, especially when I see your eye rolls. You're just eye rolls and disappointment.
It's about right. It sums me up pretty well.
Yeah.
Next up, from Burn Retinas. Is there a game or games in your respective libraries that you think that you own the most versions or ports of? For instance, Impulse buying Street Fighter 2 or Resident Evil 4 or Doom on multiple platforms.
I already know your answer, so you might as well get it out of there. You know what game you have multiple versions of. You only have one game.
Well, the one I have the most of is fucking Street Fighter 2.
No, I'm talking about...
No, I only own like 4 versions of River Raid, but I own... Oh, God. Let's see here.
No, in all
Street
fairness,
Fighter 2
I don't
Championship
think he
Edition on the
means.
PC Engine. The Street
Yeah.
Fighter 2 Turbo, Street Fighter 2 and Street Fighter 2 Turbo on the Super Famicom. Street Fighter 2 Special Championship Edition and Super Street Fighter 2 on the Sega Genesis. Hyper Street Fighter 2 on the Xbox. Street Fighter 2 Ultra HD Turbo Remix on the Xbox 360. Ultra Street Fighter 2 on the Switch. I think I have one of them on the Game Boy or one of those other things. I have like at least 10 versions of Street Fighter 2. So Street Fighter 2 is the one I have the most versions of.
Maybe I was thinking the same exact game. You just have, because isn't River Raid basically the same exact on all ports?
For the most part, I mean, everything, like the 2600 version's kind of unique to itself. And then, like the 5200 version, the ColecoVision version, the Intellivision version, some of the PC ports are all kind of the same, where like they added like tanks on the ground and the graphics are a little different. So,
okay.
yeah. I mean, there's slight little tweaks here and there between all the ports, but I mean, Street Fighter 2, there's a billion versions.
Yeah, I'm trying to think, and you threw in the digitals, and that's probably I don't have many games, but the closest would be Resident Evil 1 Remake, and it's only because I have it for the GameCube. I have it for the HD version that came out for 360, and then when there was the bundle with Resident Evil 0 and that came on Xbox One, I think I have it there.
Okay.
Excuse me. Outside of that, yeah, I'm pretty sure that's gonna be it. I think that's the most, like.
Yeah, maybe Sonic like 1 is like a second for me, but yeah, it's, pardon me, definitely Street Fighter 2.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. You do love that game.
Yes, I do. And Matt, last up from Alex Perez, favorite and least favorite fast food restaurants and your go-to orders.
Ooh. Oh, favorite and least favorite.
Now, Bri, should we preface this? Are we going to include like the low-tier restaurants like the Applebee's, or are we just going to straight McDonald's, Wendy's, that tier?
No, yeah, I feel like it has to be a place with
something with a
drive-thru.
drive-through. Okay.
Yeah. God damn, that's a hard one. I don't know about you, Jim. I mean, if you have the answer, blurt it out. But I'm very much like, I can't have any type of fast, and I never could, like, back to back to back. I'm always like, oh, I haven't had Taco Bell in a while, or I haven't had Popeyes, or like what, like I'm never just like, I couldn't day in, day out do the same over and over.
Yeah.
So this is really fucking tough, man. You can go if you know.
This is, see, about 3 months ago, it would have been an easy Taco Bell. But then Taco Bell took away all my favorites. So, like, that purge that they just did of their menu was, like, favorite after favorite after favorite that they just
What'd they
from
take
me.
away that you loved?
My two biggest ones were the quesarito and the loaded griller.
Okay.
And my wife, like, one of her favorites has always been the cheesy fiesta potatoes, and they took that away from her, too. So it's just been take. And, like, a year ago, they took away the grilled stuffed burrito, which was my go-to for, like, a decade before then. So, like, Taco Bell's still fine. It's just not the top anymore.
Okay.
I guess it would fall back to, I think Burger King is the most solid, like, across the board. Like, Burger King isn't the best at any one thing that they do, but you don't really go wrong if you're just like, oh, I haven't had Burger King in a while, but Burger King's the one, like, I would love to go to more, but the wife likes, she likes McDonald's more, but that's beyond the point. But, yeah. And the kid likes the Happy Meals from there more than any other place. But, yeah, I mean, Burger King, like, for one, Burger King, for some reason, is, like, my hangover food. Like, a bacon double cheeseburger, fries, and a Diet Coke, and that, like, cures any hangover that I have. I can get the same meal at a McDonald's or a Wendy's, but it just doesn't do as much. I will say the best burgers overall will come from Wendy's. The best fries will come from McDonald's. But just Burger King's that nice one right there.
Okay. Do you have a least favorite?
I don't know. I am pretty fat, so I don't really stay away from too many.
Damn it, Jim. And it's tough because when you think least favorite, it's just like, what do you not go to?
Yeah, like, I mean, I guess, like, I never go to Dairy Queen, if you want to count that. It's not like I hate...
probably wouldn't.
It's not like I hate Dairy Queen, but I've never had a reason to go there.
All right. my least favorite, I can probably say, of the majors, and I'll just categorize it like that, is probably McDonald's. And that's my least favorite because their burgers have never done it for me. Their fries, I got over their fries a long time ago, and it's probably after working in lots of restaurants where other places I make fries, you realize how bad McDonald's fries are. Just the saltiest things on earth. With they're deep fried in like kind of a sugar batter, so that gives them that kind of sweetness too. But yeah, there's nothing from there that, like, I always go there like thinking back to like, oh man, I haven't had like
quarter
a
pounder in a while
there, or something like that, and I have it, and I'm always like, meh.
The McGriddle holds up, but that's about it.
The breakfast, yeah, that's the only thing. When you talked about hangovers, there's something about a good, just simple McDonald's breakfast that'll do it. But I think for my favorites, shit, I'll probably go Taco Bell because that's the thing I've had most recently.
Yeah.
It's also the thing, like, I always get to the menu and I'm always like, I can't believe how much I ordered. Because here's my deal. I always go, all right, at a minimum, bare minimum, I'm getting at least 2 soft tacos, if not 3. That's like the appetizer. Usually throwing in a cheesy gordita crunch. And then it's either I'll do like Doritos Locos Taco Supremes, or some kind of grilled steak stuffed burrito. Something like that. And the
grilled stuffed burrito is gone. You got to go burrito supreme now. They took it from you.
That's what I mean. So it's like I can't even get that anymore. But still, like, all the other stuff is just, that'll be my go-to. And when I'm leaving, and especially if my wife is with me, she knows right away when I'm driving, I got to have at least 1 soft taco with the hot sauce in it, and I eat it on the way. Like, that's my go-to French fry, if you will, as you're leaving a burger place.
See, that's why the goddamn loaded grillers were so god tier, because it was like having a soft taco, but it was grilled, so it held itself together. And it kept the shape. You're not having a mess everywhere like you would with a normal soft taco, or even a hard taco. You motherfuckers.
But I do agree with you on Burger King. Now, here's the only thing I disagree. I think Burger King's burgers are better than... I used to think Wendy's were the best, and certain Wendy's burgers I think are still better, but I like the flavor of Burger King. Call it what you will, the flame grilled.
You can't beat a Whopper. Like, let's just get that out of the way. Like, the Whopper, that's like the top tier no matter what.
Yeah. And I actually, like, I've grown to think the Burger King fries, they're a little fuller, and they're never, like, McDonald's fries always seem to get flimsy.
No, you know what it is?
That never happens.
You know what it is for me? You're more likely to get a flimsy, like, the Burger King fries, when they're, like, made right, they're, like, I'd probably like them better than McDonald's fries, but it's so rare that you get them done right.
Well, see, but that's a different. I don't know if I just got a lucky one near me. Every single time I go to the one right near my house, the fries have been perfect, which is the only... Maybe that's what's influencing me, because Wendy's used to be my go-to, but their fries were never impressive at all.
No, their fries are soggy dog shit.
Yeah. But, man, when they had the mushroom melt burger...
Oh,
Dude, me and my best friend used to always, as soon as they would release that, I would just... With the cheesy sauce and the mushrooms and the bacon. Oh, dude, so good. And they never release it enough, or I don't even know if they do it anymore.
They maybe do it once a year if you're lucky.
Yeah. And, of course, like every fat kid, like, I OD'd on Baconators when they first came out. Like, I was like, I gotta have that. I haven't had one in probably since college.
Now, all right, here's one for you. Now, before I segue into this, I will say the best soda that you can get in a fast food place. This is where I'll give McDonald's the credit. For some reason, and it's because they have a special deal with Coca-Cola, but like a McDonald's Diet Coke done right it's like unbeatable. It's like that perfect level of syrup and carbonation that they have in there, and it's always better than like one out of a can and shit like that. Apparently, they have some kind of weird back end deal where like they purposely put in more syrup or something like that. So.
It's possible. Also, I'm a big believer in the type of ice you get from places can make or break a drink.
Yeah.
Like when, especially like, it's fine. I don't know if you're a type, like, if you drink through a straw, but then you'll go from a cup and eat the ice afterwards or whatever. But sometimes the ice has a flavor to it. And yeah, McDonald's has damn good ice.
Now,
I will say,
okay.
go ahead.
Now I was gonna
No,
say,
I was-
I will say because I have my end
Now,
all be
here's the
all.
deal. When I'm in the mood for anything chicken related, I love Popeyes, but there's not a goddamn one nearby me. So, unfortunately, I guess you got to go KFC there. But a KFC Taco Bell combo, like we used to have near us, that was the perfect, because if you wanted to get like some of the good little sliders, like the Nashville hot chicken sliders or something, or buffalo chicken, with some tacos, you got the best of both worlds.
Yeah,
And that was dangerous.
Yep. Okay, so now one more quick sidebar. How many goddamn bachelor parties has Popeyes been that like oasis in the desert for all of our collective hangovers?
So amazing. That is when
Somehow
I
it's
travel-
always there when you need you. You're out of state. You don't know whatever's around. All of us, you're hungover as shit. I'm puking into a trash bag in the back of a van, and then all of a sudden, Popeyes.
Dude, Popeyes is, like I said, without a doubt, I will pass everything else if I see one. If I know one's close, like every time I travel for work, if I go down Baltimore, West Virginia, whatever, I pass Delaware rest stop or a few other places, and sure enough, they have a Popeyes there. That is always what I go to. They have Burger King and other stuff. Always Popeyes.
Okay, now to wrap up this question, you can pick any era, any time period. What is your overall favorite fast food item that's ever been out there?
Ooh.
I'll give you a second because I'll go first.
Go ahead.
Because mine was the Burger King Quad Stacker circa like 2007-ish. I want to say 2005 to like 7 in there. Because they had the stacker for a little while, and basically it was 4 of their normal patties stacked on top of each other. And they had, doubles and triples and quads. But it was like the right amount of like, they just stacked the cheese in between all the patties. So it was like a caked almost layer of cheese around it. And they used like a special sauce on it and they eventually changed the sauce, and that's what fucked the stacker. But the original sauce they had it with the right combination of like cheese and bacon on it. Oh my god, I would kill to go back and experience that burger one more time.
So, it's probably just, if I'm just thinking off the top of my head, I probably have to go back to the mushroom melt from Wendy's. Like, especially when it first came out. Like, same deal. I don't know what they had on that cheese sauce. And I'm not, like, huge into mushrooms, but goddamn if that thing didn't sell me.
Oh, yeah.
So, I would go back to, and that had to be, that was high school at a minimum. Because I remember I, like, just started driving, and I was still in the Northeast. So, yeah, I would definitely go, with that mushroom melt.
Yeah, and you introduced me to that when we first met each other at college.
Yep.
Like, you're like, oh, mushroom belt's back. We're going to Wendy's. I'm like, what? You're like, shut up, just get it. I'm like, all right.
Yep. Oh, one more thing. I don't care what anyone says. One of the most underrated of all the places, every time I get it there, fucking Arby's. Love their curly fries. And their Arby's sauce is great as shit. And their chicken Swiss Club Melt is really goddamn good too.
Arby's is underrated. You know what fucked Arby's? The Simpsons. The Simpsons fucked Arby's the way Simpsons fucked voting for third-party candidates. Because they have that famous line, I'm so hungry I could eat at Arby's. And after that fucking line, everyone went, oh yeah, Arby's does suck. No, it doesn't.
No, Arby's
is good.
And
Get the classic, get like the classic double with like that melty sauce all over there and those god tier curly fries.
Dude, and the big trick with the curly fries, you get a side of cheese to dunk the fries into.
Damn right.
Yeah, and who else has Vin Rames doing the commercials for them?
Vin Rames. I couldn't tell you.
Arby's, we've got the meat.
Oh, that is Vin Rames, isn't it?
Yeah.
Never knew that.
Yeah.
Never put that together.
There you go. You're welcome.
Normally I'm too busy looking at the screen when those commercials are on, so I didn't have the time to concentrate.
Good old Maurice.
Damn.
Nah, I'm pretty fucked up right now.
Yes, Brian, thank you.
So, thank you. We just went on such a fat dude rant.
Yeah, that was a 20-minute fat dude rant. So thank you, Alex. Great question.
Thank you, Alex. Great question. Thank you once again, everyone, who has been supporting us. And please make sure to get your questions in. We love to interact with you guys. And Jim, tell them once again, where can they go if they do want to support us?
Patreon.com/DrinkABeerandPlayAGame. And I don't know, Alex, you might have opened up a can of worms, because if anyone else has random-ass questions to throw us, doesn't always have to be beer and games.
Nope, it can be anything. But Jim, speaking of beer, I did open my second one.
I have to get my second one in a minute, but go on.
You son of a bitch. All right, so you talked about continuing pumpkin beer, so I've been burning through my collection, but I've said it probably since we started, and I still think it. My favorite pumpkin beer, I'm going with the Weyerbacher Imperial Pumpkin Ale.
Ah.
It's 8%. It's one of the stronger, more average ones. It is the most balanced to me of the pumpkin beers, where it's not too heavy. It's got just enough spice, but a little bit of vanilla, cinnamon. It's always my go-to favorite.
That's a good one. And creative editing. I'll be right back, and I'm going to get mine.
Go ahead.
All right, keeping with the pumpkin theme. Comes to us.
Wait. I think I feel like a quick flash, but on the colors, I think I know what you got.
All right, go ahead. What do you think?
I think it's the Brooklyn Pumpkin Lager.
Close. It is the Brooklyn Post Road Pumpkin Ale.
That's the same shit.
You never know, Brian. They could have a lager.
Brooklyn only has that. I said lager. It don't matter.
Go on.
Fuck you, Jim.
Comes to us at 5% alcohol by volume. And oh my. Oh, Brian, look what I found.
Oh, God, don't. Just
me. In
Where's my glasses?
In the 18th century, colonial Americans brewed wonderful and interesting ales using local ingredients. Barley was the principal ingredient, but pumpkins were favored by brewers. For their rich, spicy flavors, which melted perfectly with malty barley, Post Road brings you a delicious rendition of this traditional American classic.
You know, Jim, if there was a barber shop nearby and we were trying to make amends, I would kick you through it.
Right, don't make me Marty.
And then you'll go on a crazy Twitter rampage 20 or 30 years later.
Right, don't make me team with Aldo Montoya. It's a face worse than death. Oh no, Leaf Cassidy. That's what it was. Leaf Cassidy was Al Snow. Aldo Montoya was Just Incredible. That's right.
Damn it, Jim. You didn't even need to go.
Yes, I did.
Nobody knows what the hell you're saying.
Everyone knows.
No. 3 people know.
I'm appealing to our demos,
Travis,
Brian.
don't say anything.
I'm appealing to our demos.
All right. So, yeah, I've had that one before a couple times. That's another... I'd put it like Dogfish Head. It's good. Wouldn't say it's like out of this world, but most things from Brooklyn are pretty good.
Yeah,
pretty clear for a pumpkin beer.
Yeah, no, it is. It's actually, it looks almost exactly like the Dogfish Head one. Like both in appearance and head. Aroma, I'm getting nothing, but I'm a little stuffy, so can't really go with that.
Jim, you don't have the COVID, do you?
No, I don't. When I was beat up last week, I had my flu shot like a week and a half before, and it always takes like a week or two, and then like it comes and it kicks my ass for a week. So I think that's what I had, but I haven't had any fever or anything else or difficulty breathing or any of that shit. So
don't be a spreader, Jim.
I'm a super spreader, spreading my seed.
Damn it, Jim. All right, what do we got? What's this bullshit about 72% of U.S. next-gen pre-order customers chose PS5?
Oh, all right, you skipped to the next one. Okay, that's fine. God damn it. Right, I put these things in order on the drive for a reason.
What are you talking? Oh, yeah, you did.
We live in a society.
With rules.
All right, so
this one skipping forward.
Now we're going back, motherfucker. I'm clicking it again. So this comes to us from Game Rant, but this was a story that was everywhere, and we talked about it a couple episodes ago. Microsoft making big moves as they just announced a multi-year partnership with GameStop.
Dude, and did we hit on this? Oh no,
for like a minute, not even.
Yeah, and then I think yes, we talked about it very, very, very briefly, but you remember when we first talked about the Microsoft purchase of Bethesda, and then there was like the rumor of them getting Sega?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we said it's okay, maybe they are just making crazy moves. This is a crazy move, but this is one, as we said last, I forget your opinion, but I'm okay. Anything that can keep GameStop going, because as much as a shitty company they might be to their employees or their buyback programs, it's still one of the last brick and mortar places that's not going to bend me over a barrel or have someone with probably too much attitude behind the counter. and I have only 2 mom and pop shops near us that I would go to that I think I get any kind of deal. If I need a current gen game and I don't just want to order it from Amazon, or I want to browse a used section of last gen, that's my best option. I know it's become a toy store for Funkos and everything else, but I want it still around because I would hope for the next generation they can get that same enjoyment I had when I would earn a little money and I could go and get a couple games for cheap.
Yeah, and we talked about before. I'm pretty much under that same impression too. So the skinny of it is they announced a multi-year partnership. Never disclosed how many years. Didn't disclose how much money or what money was involved. Of course, there's money involved. Like the article hints on it that like, hey, GameStop's been struggling, but they don't say there's been money involved. But there's probably been money involved. So, the long story short of it is, like, Microsoft's going to be, like, enhancing all the GameStops with, like, all this tech equipment, like tablets that the employees can walk around the store with, which they already have tablets, but maybe they're tethered as of right now. I don't know. I've seen people walk around with tablets, but I guess it'll be Microsoft tablets now.
Yeah. And it's like their cloud-based storage. Basically, yeah, they're getting an upgrade to all Microsoft-utilized software.
Using Microsoft Teams and shit like that. Yeah. With the goal of improving customer relations. I'm sure that's what that is. But, and also, one of the big things is the fact that you can, if you go to GameStop to buy an Xbox Series X or S, you can basically go into a low-cost payment plan instead of having to pay it all up front and shit like that.
I saw that. So is that kind of like a lay? It's not really even a layaway. It's literally like you're just. It's kind of like Xbox Gold, but in real life. Like you might
kind
have
of,
had
yeah. It's like just a subscription to have a console. Now, I don't know if you keep the console after a certain amount of time, like a cell phone, or if it's just you're paying a small rental fee every month just to have it, and then you return it, or you tell them to go fuck themselves, and you keep it, and you never go back to GameStop. Who knows? I don't know the logistics of it, but it's an interesting little idea they have there.
They're thinking outside the Xbox.
Don't.
I mean, hey, for everyone who was under the assumption that Microsoft is dropping out of the video game market with the moves they've been making, it's clear they really are trying like hell to make this next gen a much bigger fight. And I might have already spoiled what the next topic is, but like we know PlayStation has been the leader for a while.
The PS4 dominated this last gen.
Yeah.
Like the PS4 is already one of the, what is it, like top 4 or 3 selling consoles of all time. Like over 100 million units sold. Like it just decimated.
Yeah. And I mean, yes. And here's the deal. Jim and I have both said many times, I've always had both consoles from the generations. I never get them both brand new because that's fucking nuts.
Right.
But I play enough from both consoles where I have exclusives. I still don't get why people shit so hard on Xbox stuff because Xbox still does so many things right. If you get to a technical, level, maybe the PS4 outperforms. But goddamn, man, I play on a 65-inch plasma, and honestly, I'm not going to see that much of a difference. I'm not worried about, oh man, the grass doesn't generate it quite as nicely as it does on the PS4. Like, I don't care about shit like that.
See, here's my theory. So, we have generations of adults now, quote unquote, who grew up in the 16-bit console wars. Now, yes, there was a huge, say when we were growing up in the 16-bit era, there were gamers who had the, Intellivision versus Atari arguments, but, they didn't have the internet, and they didn't have the ability to be man-children who never grew up publicly. So, besides the kids that we get to see on all these different timelines fighting with each other, we get to see adults in their 40s and 50s and up fucking arguing between two consoles, and one has better services, and one has exclusives, and this has this many teraflops, and this has ray tracing, and you're all pathetic. Fucking, my God. Like, this is one of the downfalls of social media. Like, why? Why do I have to be... This is also me being the social media guy for the page. I subject myself to this.
You do.
But, like, this is a console where that's just been... Like, it wasn't even, like... I don't remember being as vicious during 360 and PS3. It really wasn't.
Well, here's the deal, and I will say, and I'm not picking sides, but PS3, even though I know it outsold, but honestly, let's be honest, like, the service was shit, the online was shit. The fact that it was a perfect Blu-ray player really helped boost sales initially.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, like, 360 just offered, like, they perfected, like,
the online.
using, the online, which is what all games are now anyway. But yeah, like, PS4, I feel like ramped it up because it showed a big difference in the indie titles and exclusives and yada yada yada.
Well, yeah,
And
they also
360,
they flip flopped from their marketing too, because back in the day, 360 was the game console and the PS3 was going to be the home entertainment system.
yes.
And then it flip flopped, and then fucking Xbox.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Xbox also didn't have a strong library ever, where the 360 had a really strong out of the gate for a couple years, and then it tapered off at the end. So,
Well, also, if you remember with the 360, like Call of Duty and a bunch of other games always got shit earlier than PS3. Like,
it got it earlier, and it ran the multiplats better. It took a long time for
Yes.
people to figure out the PS3 for programming it.
and it's that has also flip-flopped because now a lot of Call of Duty betas, a lot of Call of Duty content, and all the major AAA titles, they come out a little earlier on PS4. So yeah, they flip-flop with that too.
Yep.
But I'm seeing more and more, like, almost every game nowadays is doing the cross-platform with PC, which that has its own errors and issues.
Everything Microsoft on the Xbox is cross-platform with the PC.
Yeah.
Because, like, it really seems like Xbox... I've talked about it before. It really seems like that they're just trying to, like, soft launch into just being, like, a game service provider. And, like, they'll just put the hardware out there for people who want it. But, I don't know. Let's go into that again.
No, but, I mean, it is interesting, and I think... I'm curious if this is the last big move we see from Microsoft, or if they do. I still, who knows? Maybe in a couple months they're like, "Hey Sega, we got you."
That would still be some shit. I don't think it's gonna happen, but that would be some shit.
I mean, I wouldn't have thought they would have bought
Bethesda.
GameStop or Bethesda. So.
True, but yeah. So back to the article. So, oh, god damn it! Yes, I'll accept the goddamn cookies. So basically, the long story short is. The headline of the article is 72% of next-gen pre-orders chose the PS5. Now, this was only from a sample size of 511 people.
Terrible small size.
Extremely small. Comes to us from GameIndustry.biz. Apparently, 30% of people tried to pre-order and they couldn't. And that's actually, like, pre-orders for both consoles have been a disaster, like, across the board.
Oh my god. It's been a nightmare.
Yeah, so 15% said they managed to successfully pre-order, and of that group, 72% went for the disc edition of the PS5, 30% went for the Xbox Series X, 10% for the digital PS5, and 8% for the Xbox Series S, which is also interesting because I thought physical media was dead. Looks like everyone's buying the one with the physical media.
I think you and I have said there will be... That, what was it? The respective 10% and 8%?
Yeah.
That is probably the newest gen of kids. Like, there are, like, you and I, like, you're more of a collector than me, but even me, I appreciate having the physical.
Right.
Still, there are going to be parents that are of the next generation that probably don't have that same mentality, like, probably never had CDs, probably never had DVDs and Blu-rays. So all their media is probably, and they're probably telling their kids, like, you just need a digital. Like, what's the point of having physical media anymore? So I think you will see that phase.
Or it's just parents going, I'm not going to buy you the $500 one. You're going to get the $300 one.
There's that too, sure. But that's a very stupid, and I hate that is just another thing to feed the beast of this console war generation, or the console wars of the perceived generations, because 511 people, and of that 15% could actually do it. Come on, guys. You're talking about like 60 to 70 people actually were able to do it, and of that means Oh, 30 to 40 were able to actually say, I got a play PS5.
We asked 100 people, and 13 were able to get a console, and
Yeah.
7 of them went this way, and 6 went this way.
That's why I'm like, just don't put a lot into this.
I would like to see it extrapolated more, but this is like all we have right now.
What I'm very, very curious is with the news of Bethesda, and we don't have it in here, but as I was streaming Doom Eternal, someone put out there the Bethesda games might not go to PlayStation. There's this generation. Somebody wrote that in there, so we'll have to find the article. But essentially, if that's true, if whatever the next
Now, I think there's 2 titles that Bethesda was already working on that will be coming out on PlayStation, but
yes,
it really depends, and we talked about it last time, where either Microsoft goes, we're either going to go for all the money possible and let Bethesda put it out everywhere and we'll take our share, or we really try to push the Xbox one last time and say, fuck it, it just stays here.
So that's what everyone argued right away. And it seemed like people who were pro PlayStation are like, well, that's idiotic. You just did an investment of and you're not going to maximize it by coming to PlayStation. So if Fallout has a follow-up to New Vegas, if whatever the next Elder Scrolls game is, if there's another new Doom game, if it really is only available for Xbox and Microsoft things, that might push people to all of a sudden start pre-ordering more Xboxes. I think they're trying to leak as much news as they can before these pre-orders. But honestly, pre-orders have never been the determining factor of how successful a console's been. As Jim said, the PS3, it had a good launch and it went to shit. Then it's eventually outsold the 360. Even though the 360 did gangbusters right out the gate and stayed pretty consistent.
Yeah.
It was the late game that saved PS3. So,
right.
I don't know. We'll see.
But yeah, so interesting to see until you look at the sample size. But hey, who knows? It'll be an interesting generation, that's for sure. And
it's all about context.
I'm sure there'll be plenty of bitching to go around.
Always bitching, Jim.
Isn't all right. Goddamn right.
So, sticking with the game music, we're doing something a little different this week. I'm just going to say from this point forward, it's most likely we're always going to have a video game that's inspired by real-life music, as is the case today. The links are below, but I'm going to let Jim real quick. Right now, he hasn't heard it. Click the link right there. Take a listen. He doesn't know the game that apparently used a song, but he's very familiar with it.
All right, I'm going to do it off my phone so I don't fuck with the computer, but let me see here.
Go ahead.
All right, it might come through the mic. We'll see.
All
Details. Right. Matters. Bri, you sent me the goddamn actual... Did I click the wrong link?
No, you got it.
Yeah, you sent the actual, what do you call it? The actual song that it is.
Yes.
Okay.
You're supposed to guess what game used this song.
Oh, God, that's hard. I thought it would be...
No. The reason it's not hard is, once again, I can give you hints, but listen to it. See, is it at all ringing bells? So the song, I'll just say right now while Jim's listening to it.
No, I mean, I know this. I know this song well.
Yeah, it's Psycho Holiday. The game that uses it, and I think it's pretty unmistakable, is a game Jim knows very well. Is anything clicking at all? Even kind of.
I'm blanking out. I don't know what you're getting at.
All right. So first, let me tell you the console for the N64.
Nope.
All right, hold on. Let me send it to you now. It's not even coming close.
I am blanking. I think if you did it with the game version and said, what song is this, I'd be way better at that, but...
You would, but that's kind of... I wanted to see if, hearing it, maybe it hit anything.
If my powers were that strong. Apparently they're not.
All right, so I'm sending Jim the link right now. So, Jim, when you hear it and you see it, it's in there now.
All right.
You read it out and tell me I'm wrong. Or right.
Oh, wow, that is like that. Okay, so it's WrestleMania 2000. Here's why I didn't get it. I've never owned it. I've played it a little bit, but I never owned WrestleMania 2000.
All right, that makes a little more sense because you did the same thing with WCW versus NWO Revenge versus World Tour, where you're like, well, WrestleMania 2000 is good because if you like the roster, da 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 da. So I assumed you naturally own that.
No, I played it a lot with friends, but I never owned it because I wound up owning No Mercy. So I was like, why would I own this? Of course, now if I saw it for a good price, I'd obviously pick it up. But no, back in the day, I just like No Mercy was the only game I needed.
Okay, so. Yeah, once again, so the game is WrestleMania 2000 for the N64, and it's specifically the main theme when you're turning on the game. It is, I think, as direct a copy as possible of Pantera's Psycho Holiday.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, does it sound any different to you?
No. I mean, it's no Diggity Dog, but, I mean, it's a good song to have in there.
It's kind of more badass than Dick Diggity Dog. That's the thing of No Mercy that kills me. Is like I can never skip through that song fast enough.
I think everyone who owned No Mercy, like when they started to get to the menu, they're like, "What the fuck is this song?"
Dick Diggity Dog.
Break it.
But no, what's interesting is we just talked 2 episodes ago about Doom, the Pantera, like ripping that off.
Yeah.
This is no change. Same melody, same beat, same everything.
Right.
I wonder if they actually got the rights for it. I don't know.
Maybe. I mean, it's like it's right there. Like there's really almost no change. Maybe a cunt hair enough to make it so they didn't have to buy rights because Vince.
Careful, mothers listen to this.
Which ones? Like, all right, my wife does, but she doesn't listen as far into the podcast anyway.
No, after me and your mom have some Arby's, we listen to it. Jim, how did you just fall face first? You are that guy that gets conned into voting the wrong person off in Among Us all the time. I know it.
No, it's not even that. I'm fucking back to The Simpsons. I'm Bart when he just keeps grabbing that fucking electrified cupcake. And he doesn't learn his lesson. Ow. Ow. Ow.
Oh, Jim. Too easy.
Sigh.
But yeah, no. So I thought that was an interesting one. I thought that was one you would know for sure.
No, if I had it, I probably would have known it. But yeah, like I said.
Okay. But yeah. So
at least I can feel better about myself that it's a game I didn't own. Because God forbid it would be like a Star Fox game, and I'm just like, oh, I don't recognize the song.
I'm still waiting to catch some of those.
I'm sure you will, because I am the worst.
But no, if you guys, I do have a list of these songs, but if you have anything, send us our way. It is fun, and I think I want to keep doing it this way. Maybe we'll go back and forth. Jim will hit me with something.
Yeah, I think this makes it more interesting.
Yeah, but we'll do alternatives to this. But listen to the links below. It's goddamn spot on.
Yep, for sure.
So what do we got next, Jim?
Next up, one of the most recurring of recurring bits, with which is better. So I came up with it this week. So Brian, you like your hypotheticals? Let's go with hypotheticals.
Aren't these all hypotheticals?
Well, yes.
So it's not like it's a new hypothetical. It's always a hypothetical. But go on, Jim.
Just going to grab that cupcake. But Brian, let's just say you're player 2, and you have the option between 2 controllers. You have an arcade stick, and you have a third-party, like, pad. What do you go for? What do you think's better?
Hold on. When you mean... See, I thought you meant just first third-party controller.
Well,
so I'm thinking...
a third-party controller is generally just going to be... Like, all these companies have first-party arcade sticks for the most part.
Okay.
All right, let's make it more specific. A first-party arcade stick or a third-party pad? Let's go that way.
Okay, so it's kind of like if you and I are doing Tekken 6 on 360, and I'm using like your Mad Catz arcade stick.
It's a Hori, Brian.
You know what I mean. Or one of your shitty, plasticky third-party controllers.
Right.
Okay. In fighting games, I'm going to use the arcade stick. Racing games, I'll probably go third-party controllers. And I think this really, unless I'm completely wrong, I feel like that only really applies to like 360 gen and newer. I don't
No,
think previous gens really have that many arcade sticks.
no, basically every console generation, even going back to the NES, had arcade sticks.
What the hell? I honestly, for the 16-bit, I never saw an arcade stick for either console. I
Oh,
never used one. Let's put it that way.
no, they all had them. Like, I forget it. I think Nintendo had a first party one, but like they had a ton of third party ones for them. Sega had both a 3-button and a 6-button first party sticks. There were third party ones out the ass. Hell, the NES had its the NES Advantage control stick.
Yeah.
So the Master
Like you
System,
said, I
the
just
Turbo,
didn't-
they all have sticks.
I mean, my answer. Okay, so
Hell, you could even go Neo Geo and say the classic arcade stick or the CDs or the CD like control stick or the controller too.
yeah, it's gonna really just depend on the type of game. Like I said, racing or fighting games, I'll probably go arcade sticks, unless it's a controller I'm really comfortable with. Like honestly, when you got those arcade sticks for 360,
Yeah.
I liked them, but I got so used to just using the 360 controller that I preferred even a shitty 360 controller. What other two-party games? If we're playing like a shoot 'em up, I'll probably stick with a controller. So probably most of the time I'll go controller, unless it's fuck it. I'll just say controller. Like I feel like even a shitty controller, even if the buttons are a little too tough or whatever, as long as the inputs are okay, I'm just gonna be naturally more used to using that layout. And I feel like the time it takes me to get used to an arcade stick, if I'm not already used to it, I'll suck too much at the game.
Yeah, and I'm actually in the exact same boat because a lot of the first party arcade sticks, especially from the 16-bit gen, they aren't really that good. Like, they're first party, they're made better than like a lot of the third party ones, but they still like don't have micro switches for the most part. They still, well, like Sega's Japan ones did, the American ones didn't. So they always feel like just weirdly mushy, and like you have more travel to like move left and right and shit like that. So again, I've said it before how I wasn't an arcade kid growing up, so I never had that arcade stick love. But no matter what, for me personally, I would always go with like, you know, some exceptions. Like I would go with a shitty third party controller for player 2 than a stick any day, no matter what type of game I'd be playing.
Hey Jim, your little flub there just made me think. Is there such thing as a second party? If it is, what is it? I just thought about that. I know that's really off topic, kind of. But you have first party games or third party games? What the fuck is a second party?
An officially licensed one made by a different party? I don't know.
That's what
I don't know
mean.
how to answer this.
Like maybe if NES published a game, but it was developed by somebody else. I don't know.
But that's always called third party, though. I don't. What happened to the second party? It was a shit party. No one wanted to be there.
See, 3 parties. You need 3 parties everywhere, Jim.
Goddamn right. Go ahead, Brian. Throw your vote away on that second party.
Yeah, you like I said, you have really nice. What was it? You had the Tekken one, and didn't you have a Street Fighter 2 one?
No,
Arcade sticks.
no, I didn't have the stick of that. I had the fight pad, which is like a 6-button. It was like a Saturn controller for the 360.
Yes.
And I love
Okay.
that controller. That's a great one. And,
That's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah, like I had the NES Advantage. I have 2 for the Genesis. I have a 6-button first party one, but I also have this one called the Hori Dual Heavy. And the dual part is it works on both the Genesis and the Super NES. So if I ever want to use a stick, I can use that for either one. Yeah, it's got both inputs. It's a cool stick.
I was gonna say, do you ever actually like feel the need to use it?
Not really.
Nope.
I mean, like I guess the most I ever use it for is shmups, but besides that, I never really use it. The biggest time I ever use that is, or really either of those, is when I play Super Smash TV on the Genesis, because you can do a mode where you use like it's 2 controller mode to like replicate the dual stick. So everyone's like, "Oh, this is shitty. You're using 2 controllers." Au contraire, you can use 2 arcade sticks and kind of recreate the arcade experience like that.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, because outside of that, I was thinking, like, what the fuck's the word? Not apparatus. Gaming add-ons, if you will, like hardware add-ons. The only things I would ever use would be like a steering wheel and gas and pedal
Yeah.
for racing games, or a gun for shooting games. But
Right.
obviously, I don't even know if they work on modern TVs anymore. But
The light guns don't work on modern TVs, and the closest we've had is besides either a Wiimote or like the PlayStation Move. Like I think one of the later Time Crisis had PlayStation Move support, so
yeah,
it's about
dude.
the best you're gonna get.
It's
Or
one
actually
of the
now
reasons-
VR took over that.
Oh, that's definitely true. Yeah. Okay. So, but no, yeah, the I don't know, man. Like, I know what they're going for, and the Neo Geo, as you said, like their standard gamepad is the giant thing.
Yeah, and that's got the micro switch. Like that's a really good stick that they give you.
I like, yeah, it's kind of like playing, like if for some reason you had a pinball game and they just give you 2 buttons instead of a control, like what would be the point? Like at that point, just go to the arcade and I don't know.
That's actually like the big. If you want to go with pinball, then fucking like Arcade 1-Up's coming out with pinball machines, but it's just a digital screen. So like you have a digital screen that's like raised up and you have buttons on the side, but it's just a screen for the game. It's not like an actual like miniature
it's
pinball
not an
thing.
actual, so you don't get the mechanical feel of it all. And
Right.
Yeah.
And then that like real physics and all that shit.
Somebody out there might. I mean, hey, those arcade 1-Ups, they're that thing when you're walking through any store and you see it. You always take a peek. You take a little extra. You're like, huh. Like, oh, Mortal Kombat, NBA Jam, this or that.
Yeah.
And it's a perfect thing for wives who have husbands that are into games. And they're like, oh, this could be a Christmas gift for him. I don't know if he'd like it, but...
Well, of course you like it, but yeah, I mean, but there's still a difference between like replicating in like a stand-up arcade and replicating a fucking pinball table with a digital screen.
Oh, of course.
Come on.
Yeah.
Come on now,
Pinball's a dead art, but...
sir.
Jim,
Still there.
tell me I'm wrong.
It's got its fans.
It's like card games. Nobody needs to do real card games. Just do digital. Come on.
But Brian, then you don't get the tactile feel and the joy of just ripping open a beautiful booster pack and realizing
Yeah.
you just wasted $7.
But you also then can avoid all the bad smells of meetings.
I've been to different ones, and man, those Magic tournaments were the worst by far. Those were the smelliest of the smelliest. The Yu-Gi-Ohs weren't bad. The HeroClix was fine. They showered. Magic players though, oh boy.
Damn it. But no, that's a good question. But yeah, I think for me, without doubt, third-party controller. So if somebody out there, I'm very curious if there's anyone that truly prefers those first-party arcade sticks.
Tell
Let
us
us
why.
know why and what games you actually use them for.
Yeah, I mean the biggest ones, like you said, are going to be shmups and fighters. But I'm curious to see like what else they use it for.
Yeah, for sure. All right, Jim. So you also added for our overrated, underrated. What are we looking at?
Well, Brian, to bring this episode full circle as we close it out,
They
Golden
call this a
Axe.
callback.
You can call it a throwback. You can call it a comeback. Do you not call it a comeback?
Damn it.
Yes, the Golden Axe series, would you just say. At first I was like, do I just go Golden Axe itself? But you're like, yeah, fuck it, throw them all in there. Why not?
Jim, are we throwing Golden Axe in there now?
I guess we have to. I guess it's canon now. For the distinguished gentleman like myself who hopped right on that. Dusted off the old Steam account.
Ooh. So, all right. I honestly, outside of, I think you and I played some together.
Brian, that's an old drunken long play that we did back
It
in the
is.
day.
But I'm saying, like, I haven't played much Golden Axe outside of the actual arcade. So all of my experiences, even up to 3, have been in the arcades. And Golden Axe was always that game that, for whatever reason, never seemed to have people on the cabinets.
Oof.
And I would play it. And I'm like, this is a really fun game. Like, I enjoyed it. Like, it was always fun. It was a nice beat 'em up, and it was different than most other beat 'em ups, being set in that more like medieval style with magic and whatnot.
Yeah.
I can remember having lots of fun in the arcade, but it never translated to me wanting it enough at a home console level. So, if I'm going from my experiences with it, I may say underrated, but because I know there is a sect of people that love these games so much, but for me, if it's not enough to grab me, and I know it's been available from every system from the 16-bit era on, and there's so many things like on every digital platform, I feel like, where you can get versions of it, that I've never been like, I really need to pull the trigger on this. Like you said, other than when me and you did that drunken long play.
Yeah.
I might say overrated. It's like good, but the one thing I always remembered with those games is all the characters felt really stiff, and the movement up and down the planes are just, it's rough. It's not smooth at all. You might have like fun kicking the gnome or using your magic, but the stiffness of the control is what really holds that game back. So I have to go overrated.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to jump right into overrated for the simple fact that all the Sega diehards, like, they all love Golden Axe. Golden Axe is fine. Golden Axe 1 and 2 are good games. They're fine. But they're not as good as people say they are. For the reason that you touched on with how goddamn stiff they are. I get that they're early games. I get that they're better in the arcade. But they are stiff. They're stiff, 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 stiff. There's not a lot of animations there, which, again, product at the time. Much like Golden Axe. But
is it janky, Jim?
It's a little janky. It's a little rough. It's a little rough to go back to. But I guess I don't have I didn't grow up with Golden Axe. So, like, when I experienced it as an adult, and I was like, 1 and 2, I'm like, yeah, they're fun. Golden Axe 3 is pretty bad. I never played Golden Axe Warrior on the Master System, and unless I emulate it, I'm not going to, because that's crazy expensive. And that's just a Zelda clone, basically. And then,
did you play, what was it, the Revenge of...
Death Adder the arcade? Never played that.
Okay.
That seems to be the one that people say is like the best one, and the only port that it's ever gotten is going to be the arcade 1-up that just came out. So that's one I should name that one of these days, but I hear that's the best one. That's also one of those ones that's always been hard to, like, maim well. Like, it has some weird programming that it, like, never emulated, like, truly right. Yeah. So, like, arcade 1-up's the closest you're going to get with that. And then there's that bad 360 game, apparently, like Rise of the Beast Rider or some shit like that. Or Golden Axe Beast Riders or whatever it's called. And now you throw in Golden Axe, which you can't really count, but I'm counting it. So you have 2, probably 3 good games out of the entire series. And even those games that are good, they're okay. They're not that great. Like, Golden Axe 2 is probably the best one of them all, but even then, it's, a slightly smoother Golden Axe 1. What are you going to do?
I always kind of looked at this the same way, and you said it's Sega fanboys that really jumped because it was another Sega title. I looked at this kind of like Altered Beast. Everyone looks back at Altered Beast like
it's definitely better than Altered Beast. We can get that out of the way right now.
Yeah, but my point is, like, Altered Beast is one of those ones that, like, people, whether jokingly or not, like, have this love for. But the game, I mean, you and I have played it, we've reviewed it, we've drunk and long play. That game, I want to love it, but it's a fucking rough game. But people still have this odd love, and that's the one thing, man. I will give credit to Sega diehards. When they get shit for their consoles, they don't care. They ride or die with that shit.
You know what? Here's what I think the love for Golden Axe so much comes from, is because before you had Golden Axe, you had Last Battle, and you had, like, Two Crude Dudes, and you had, or maybe that came after, I don't know. But you had what do you call it? You definitely had Altered Beast and Last Battle before you had Golden Axe. And Golden Axe is a breath of fresh air after those 2 games. So it's probably everyone going like, oh, this is the next level. Beat 'em ups right here. And they never, like, grew past that initial love for it.
Yeah. And that could be, like, the grab for the Dungeons and Dragons and things like people of that nature. Because if you're someone who's like not into beat 'em ups and you don't like Streets of Rage and you don't like games like that, and you're like, I want Magics, Warriors, I think the amount of available games on Genesis is kind of limited in that arena.
Oh yeah, they never got the any of the Dungeons and Dragons beat 'em ups like the SNES got. So
Yeah, so it's kind of like.
but then again,
This
that's
is-
almost like the SNES's version because we had Golden Axe, but those also came out later, so they're better.
Yeah, so but that's what I mean. Like, I feel like that might also be the love because when you look at, well, I don't think anyone should put Golden Axe in the series of great, amazing beat 'em ups on the Genesis, but somehow I think it usually ends up on there, and it's probably more for nostalgia.
It's a really important title and series, but
Yeah.
it isn't. It's a tough to go back to where to discover late.
Yeah, so that's what I'm more curious. If anyone listening, if you do have true love, you think what we're saying is wrong, and you think it's completely underrated, I'm curious, and if you can, try not to tie just good memories with it. Like, talk about the gameplay, the control, like, and if you've played it recently, let us know what it is that you love so much about the game. Because, like I said, I always did love the magic abilities and some of that stuff, but yeah, it's just sometimes you can't deny just a game is kind of rough to play. And
Yeah.
that's one of them.
And it's funny going back to Golden Axe, like talking to people on Twitter. I talked to a few people who were like, "Yeah, I played this demo and I absolutely loved it." And I was like thinking, "Really?" And they're like, "Yeah, it gave me that Golden Axe feel." So it's got its lovers out there,
It does.
and it does do a good job of recreating the old feel of Golden Axe. So maybe that's why I was kind of lukewarm on it. But hey,
Yeah.
if you like Golden Axe, then hopefully you got to download it.
Yeah, but no, I mean, I think I actually, that is a series I wouldn't mind streaming and doing a meme of, like all of the Golden Axes, like because I did say I absolutely the experiences I've had in the arcade, I couldn't understand in the arcade why nobody was really playing it.
Yeah.
I've always had fun in the arcade, but home ports, not so much.
Fair.
But all right, Chambers, what'd you think of the Brooklyn?
Much like Golden Axe, it's fine but unremarkable. But at least this isn't overrated because, like, Brooklyn's a brewery that no one really ever talks about, but it's like that old one. It's that one that's always there that you're just like, fuck it, I'll grab Brooklyn tonight. You're not gonna have a bad time with it. But it doesn't have any standouts. But it's a perfectly solid brewery, solid pumpkin beer, just nothing special.
Yeah, there's a few beers I think over the years of us reviewing beers, like I would highly recommend from Brooklyn, but I equate that to New York's version of like a Yingling.
Yeah,
Maybe more crafty, but at the end of the day, yeah, that's New York's Yingling.
that's fair. I remember Brooklyn's winter beer being really good, but
Yes,
that's the one that
the
stands
winter
out the most.
warmer is great. They had, I don't know if you remember for Chris's one birthday, I got him the Black Ops, that specialty bottle. That it was like it almost looks like a wine bottle.
Yeah.
That shit's delicious, but you pay $15 or $20 for a big bottle of it, which nobody wants to do.
Right,
So-
you pay $15 for 20 ounces of Brooklyn lager, like
Yeah, but everything outside of that, yeah, their stuff is not bad. Nothing you're gonna be like, oh man, you gotta try this.
right.
On the opposite spectrum, Weyerbacher, like I said, I'm not one to ever overhype anything, but if you're someone who, like, let's put it this way, if you've ever had Southern Tier Pumpkin, which is usually on people's, like, top list of best pumpkin beers, if you think that tastes a little too much like pumpkin and fall spices, this is the perfect answer. Way better balanced, smoother, and just goes down easy for an 8% beer. It can be a little dangerous. So I highly, highly recommend that one.
There you go. Smooth and 8%. Sign me up.
Yeah. So with that, guys, we want to say once again, thank you so much for following us. If you listen the whole entire time, please make sure, if you haven't already, hit subscribe. If you're on YouTube, leave us a comment. If you're on iTunes or Spotify, leave us some feedback if you can. Give us a 5-star if you don't mind. And with that, we want to say have a good night and cheers.
Cheers, guys.